Welcome to this video. Today we gonna talk about Skyler Neese. Make sure you subscribe and like. Let's get started. Introduction. In today's video, we will be delving into one of the most tragic and shocking cases in modern American crime history, the disappearance and murder of 16-year-old Skyler Neese from Star City, West Virginia. Skyler's case became infamous not only because of the chilling nature of the crime but also because of the betrayal that came from two people who should have been her closest friends. This case shocked a community and left a family torn apart. Today, we'll explore her life, the tragic events leading to her death, the investigation that followed, and the devastating aftermath for her family, friends, and the tight-knit community of Star City. Background: Skyler's life before the tragedy. Skyler Neese was born in 1996 and grew up in Star City, West Virginia, a small town with a tight-knit community. She was a bright, energetic, and vibrant teenager. Friends and family described her as someone full of life, with a bubbly personality that made everyone around her feel at ease. Skyler was the type of person who could light up a room, with a smile that could brighten anyone's day. Skyler was a sophomore at University High School. She had big dreams for her future. She was involved in activities and had a group of friends that she considered to be close. Two of these friends were Rachel Schoaf and Shelia Eddy. These two girls were among Skyler's best friends, and the three were inseparable. They spent hours together, often talking about their hopes, dreams, and everyday teenage struggles. However, as often happens in life, relationships aren't always as perfect as they appear. Though Skyler and her friends had known each other for years, tensions started brewing between them. Skyler began pulling away from the group as she focused on schoolwork and her own personal growth. There was an emotional strain that built up slowly but surely, and this strain would ultimately escalate into something tragic. The disappearance. A night that changed everything. On the night of July 6, 2012, Skyler Neese vanished without a trace. She had told her parents that she would be spending the night at a friend's house, but instead, she sneaked out of her bedroom window to meet Rachel and Shelia. While sneaking out wasn't unusual for a teenager, this time, something went terribly wrong. Skyler was last seen around midnight, and by early morning on July 7th, her parents, Dave and Mary Neese, became concerned when Skyler had not returned home. Her parents immediately reported her missing, and local law enforcement began their search. What followed was a community in fear and confusion. Skyler was a beloved girl in Star City, and her disappearance left everyone shaken. As hours turned into days, the investigation intensified, with local police, volunteers, and the entire town coming together to search for any trace of Skyler. Her two friends, Rachel and Shelia, were immediately questioned by the police. They both appeared distraught, but their responses seemed oddly detached. As the investigation continued, it became clear that Rachel and Shelia were hiding something. They claimed to know nothing about Skyler's whereabouts, but the authorities were growing suspicious. Could the people closest to Skyler be involved? The revelation. A shocking confession. For months, Skyler's case seemed to go nowhere. Her disappearance was a mystery that haunted the town and her family. As days passed, there was no sign of Skyler, and the investigation seemed to hit a dead end. But in March of 2013, the case took a shocking turn. Rachel Schoaf, one of Skyler's closest friends, came forward with a confession that left everyone in shock. In a heart-wrenching and chilling revelation, Rachel admitted to her involvement in Skyler's disappearance and murder. She confessed that she and Shelia had been planning the crime for months. Skyler had no idea that her two best friends were plotting her death. Rachel explained that she and Shelia had invited Skyler to a remote area on the night of July 6 under the pretense of hanging out. But once there, their plan took a deadly turn. They attacked Skyler, and in a cold, calculated manner, they ended her life. Rachel later admitted that their motives were rooted in jealousy, emotional instability, and resentment that had been building between the three girls. This revelation stunned everyone who knew Skyler. How could two people who had once been her closest friends betray her in such a horrific and brutal way? The motive behind the crime was disturbing. Skyler's life had been taken by the very people she trusted the most. The investigation. The truth comes to light. Following Rachel's confession, the investigation took on new urgency. Authorities were able to gather physical evidence that confirmed Rachel's version of events. They pieced together the details of what had transpired that night, uncovering a chilling and disturbing narrative. Skyler had been murdered in a brutal, cold-blooded manner, and her body was left discarded in a remote area. The girls had carefully chosen the location and the night for the murder, making sure that no one would find out. The police also discovered that Rachel and Shelia had been struggling with emotional instability for months. The pressures of adolescence, combined with unresolved personal issues, had fueled their resentment and jealousy towards Skyler. The murder wasn't just an act of violence, it was the culmination of months of toxic emotions. As the investigation deepened, it became clear that this was a premeditated crime. Both Rachel and Shelia had planned it carefully, with chilling attention to detail. The legal consequences. Justice for Skyler. The legal consequences of Skyler Neese's death were swift and tragic. Rachel Schoaf, after pleading guilty to second-degree murder, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Shelia Eddy, who was charged with first-degree murder, received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. The case garnered national attention, with people across the country trying to make sense of how two young girls, who had once been friends with Skyler, could commit such a horrific act. The trial was a grim reminder of how unchecked emotional turmoil and mental health struggles can lead to devastating outcomes. For the Neese family, the legal proceedings did little to ease their pain. No sentence could bring back their daughter, but the case did serve as a reminder of the importance of addressing emotional struggles among teenagers and ensuring that young people receive the mental health support they need. The aftermath. A community forever changed. Skyler's murder left an indelible mark on her family and the entire community of Star City. Her parents, Dave and Mary Neese, were devastated by the loss of their daughter. The grief they felt was unimaginable, but they turned their sorrow into advocacy. They spoke out publicly about the importance of mental health support for teenagers and worked tirelessly to raise awareness about the dangers of unresolved emotional struggles. Their activism helped shed light on the pressures young people face in relationships, both in person and online. The Neese family has worked to ensure that their daughter's death wasn't in vain and that other families don't have to experience the pain they went through. A larger conversation. The dangers of neglecting mental health. Skyler's case raised important questions about how society views teenage relationships and the emotional struggles that often go unnoticed. The instability that led to Skyler's murder wasn't just the result of teenage angst, it was the result of mental health issues that were ignored for too long. Skyler's story serves as a powerful reminder that emotional struggles can have tragic consequences if left unaddressed. It's essential that we provide young people with the support, understanding, and guidance they need as they navigate the complex world of relationships, personal growth, and emotional health. Conclusion. Skyler Neese's legacy. Skyler Neese's life was tragically cut short by betrayal, but her story continues to resonate with many. Her case has taught us valuable lessons about the importance of mental health and the dangers of unresolved conflicts among teenagers. Skyler's memory lives on through her family's advocacy and the lessons learned from her tragic death. She will never be forgotten, and her case stands as a somber reminder of the need to support our youth, provide them with safe environments, and address emotional turmoil before it leads to violence. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more investigations into some of the most chilling mysteries of our time. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into real-life crime stories. What do you think of this case? Was justice served, or did it fail those who needed it most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And I see you in the next video.